Right now, still 2 o'clock. Okay, I'll call the order to Sparks City Council meeting of 4/22/2019 with a roll call, please.
Mayor Smith,
Here.
council members Abbott,
Here.
Lawson, Anderson,
Here.
Bybee,
Here.
Dare,
Here.
City Attorney Adams, City Manager Cruz.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, if everybody will stand for our invocation speaker today is Councilman Christopher Dare. Christopher? You can yell.
Use your church voice.
Yeah. Use your outdoor voice.
Would you pray with me? Lord, we come to you and we just thank you for our country. This is National Day of Prayer Week, and so many different people are coming together to pray for what happens in this nation. And so, Lord, I do pray for the leadership of this nation, from federal to state, local, city, county, each portion of it, Lord. I pray for those in place, from our president to our congressmen to our senate. Oh, but I also thank you for this body here and the different bodies that are meeting around in the local setting. Lord, I pray you give us wisdom and teach us how to work together for the better cause of all that happens, and give us wisdom. Lord, on that note, I also lift up our military, our police, our fire, those who run towards the dangers that help protect us. Lord, I pray you protect them, guide them. Lord, I also just thank you for the people that we serve. Lord, I pray for our seniors, our families. I pray for the youth and our children, Lord, that the decisions we make always have unintended consequences. So, Lord, I pray you give us wisdom to see beyond just what we decided. Lord, I also do pray for our mayor, Lord, to continue with his health. Thank you for all you're doing, and thank you for each person in this room. In your name we pray.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Dare. If you remain standing, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Lisa, would you lead us today, please?
I would be honored. Please join me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, good crowd today. Loud. Everybody's happy today. Okay, I'm going to open up the public comment period. Anybody wishing to speak, would you please fill out one of these cards? We'll get you down here for 3 minutes. Our first speaker today, Harvey Whittemore. Welcome, Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wanted to take this opportunity, first of all, for the record, my name is Harvey Whittemore. I'm appearing on behalf of the new entity, Phoenix D'Andrea Acquisition LLC, which has entered into a definitive lease option agreement with the former owners of the D'Andrea Golf Course. We're in the process of completing those documents to allow us to take control through a lease program with an option to purchase. We had the opportunity to meet with your code enforcement staff along with Chet, one of your associates, to come up with a plan, to develop one of the assistant city attorneys to develop a plan to put into place all those things which the council has previously indicated to its code enforcement officials that these are the things that needed to be done. I can tell you that damage continues to take place almost on a daily basis up at the course. It's absolutely incredible, the damage that's being done, and I'm not one to suggest with any degree of hesitancy that these people are simply thugs. They just are ruining things to ruin things. We completed the mowing of holes number 7 and 4. If you drive by the school, you can see on your left-hand side as you go up the hill that the weeds have been mowed down. We started the process of removing debris around the clubhouse, completed the bulk of the work around the parking lot. The next steps will be for us to engage in a series of continued meetings with your planning staff to go through the process associated with what needs to be done. One of the first things on the agenda will be how do we get effluent on the course so that we can test the facilities, bring power through the boards that we're acquiring as we speak. We'll be going hot with respect to electricity so that we can get lights on the upper parking lots, lights to control and start to really develop a security presence to allow the facilities to be maintained. We've placed steel plates on the top of a number of holes that were in the floor, subflooring of the facility, which was burned down. That has been done. We told your code enforcement folks that we would do that, and that has already been completed since last Thursday. So a substantial amount of progress. Obviously, we will dot our i's, cross our t's with respect to every aspect of this. We will be meeting with the homeowners associations that have input with respect to this. I do want to make it clear, at this time, we will be giving to the homeowners an option to acquire the land necessary to build 18 holes. That'll be up to them. We will not be doing that. We will be building a 9-hole championship course with a practice facility, coming in with appropriate plans to create a commercial space with respect to where the existing facility was, so that we can start the process of engaging in commercial activities up there, the driving range, other retail activities, events, the types of things that the homeowners, we hope, will find appropriate. But the biggest thing is my commitment to you that on behalf of the entity that we represent, that we will be doing everything that we can to get rid of that eyesore. It was too nice a piece of property at one time to let it continue to grow fallow. And with that, I have finished my time. But I'll be happy to answer any questions very quickly, Mr. Mayor, if that's appropriate.
Thank you, Harvey.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next speaker is Kim Tracy. Come on down, Kim. Welcome.
Good morning, Kim. Is that on?
It's on.
Kim Tracy for the record, and I'm here for something that's completely unrelated to everything you're covering today, but I want to take advantage of every opportunity to talk to you about the events at Wild Creek. I see that you have a couple of MOUs on your agenda today, and what I would like to, I would hope that you would entertain is championing an MOU between the county and the school district to maintain at least a fair amount of property on the current Wild Creek Golf Course, either as a golf course or as a green space. Actually, I'd prefer that you make something even more legal and binding, an MOU. If it's the best that you can do, then we'll take whatever we can get at this point. But we'd like to make sure that before anything is finalized with them, there is some sort of understanding that remaining property that is not used for the school will be used for a green space or to maintain the golf course as it currently is, or as much of it as can currently be maintained. The other thing I'd like to ask is that Traffic Works, I guess, is the company that did in fact do the study. I'd like to have them vetted really well by someone other than the school district. I'd like you guys to maybe check them out, look into them a little bit. It appears to me from what I've seen, they haven't been in business for that long, maybe 7 years. And from everything I've read about them, they specialize in roundabouts and traffic signal coordination. So that's great, but that's only a small factor. I'd like to make sure that when they do their 15-minute incremental studies, that they're done at the correct times of day, not at 6 a.m. and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd just like to make sure that those are all vetted properly. I'd like to have that on the record, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Okay, next speaker is Gail Miller. Come on down, Gail. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Gail Miller. I live in the sphere of influence, but address Sparks, Nevada. I would second what Kim is saying about the MOU. We have kind of the feeling that several of the county commissioners are also would be on board with an MOU, an agreement between the Sparks City Council and the county commissioners to maintain what will be left after the school is built as either a golf course or an open space, green space type of thing. And most of us that live around here would just love to keep that there. So I hope you will consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Next speaker is Wesley Griffin. Come on down, Wesley. Welcome.
Good afternoon. We're going to sound like a broken record here. Yes, but we do want to encourage you to enter into an MOU with the County Commission to preserve our green space recreational area over at Wild Creek. We've been in this, involved now for a couple of years. We've had a lot of time involved with this, and we'd certainly like to see our green space and recreational properties in Washoe County maintained. When will we get another park like that? Who will pay for it? Why shouldn't we keep what we've got? It's in our, in the Truckee Meadows Regional Plan that we're supposed to be preserving and saving green space. Before an area like that is changed, it's going to change the character of the neighborhood. The neighborhood should be, the people in the neighborhood should be, have the opportunity to speak out before it's a done deal. Interestingly enough, you know, it's easy enough maybe to ignore this when it's not your own backyard. But interestingly enough, when we allow these things to happen, if it can happen to us, it can happen to you. And we need public input. And so we would really appreciate you at least giving us very real consideration to making, to entering into an MOU with Washoe County. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Hey, Gregory, I'm sorry, George Lee. Welcome, George.
There we go. Sorry for the delay. George Lee, 3506 Brassey Drive. I'm concerned about, I know this is not on your agenda, but I'm very concerned about the fact that they've said that there was no need to widen Sullivan Lane, where it goes up in this area between their roundabouts they plan on putting up, and moving the power lines that are there, the large pole power lines, moving them back. They're going to have to fill in order to put the roundabout up at El Rancho and Sullivan. They're going to have to build a whole bunch of, they're going to have to make a plateau out, because now, right now, as soon as they get to the corner, there's a big deep cut and it goes out. So they're going to have to do some serious terracing there, or a buildup of land in order to make that roundabout, that first roundabout on El Rancho. The second thing is they're moving the actual road to the east and north with a large hump around the outside of the Wild Creek Villas property. They're actually taking the road and moving it out away from there, which means they're going to have to change the way some of the power lines are running anyway. The third thing is there's a large water retention area, like what do you call it? Well, it's a large water retention area for Overrun that's down there between the Gulf Maintenance Building going north, and there's this large dike that's there. They're going to have to deal with that, deal with all that runoff or wherever that water was going, or the need for it to be retained. They're going to have to deal with it, and I have not seen any of that in their plans, other than the fact that they plan on sculpting it down. This area they're going to remove land from, the dirt from. So that plan that they have really needs to be looked at as far as what it does in northern end of the project. It's about where the dam is. It's like we're in that dam area. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you. It needs to be looked at.
Okay, I don't have any more cards. Anybody else in the audience wishing to speak at this time?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
can I ask that we look into an MOU for that piece of property that they were just talking about, since it's in my ward?
Yes, sir. We'll look into it.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else in the audience wish to speak? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council. Approval of the agenda. Mr. Abbott.
Yeah, can we approve it with the changes of moving 7.5 in front of 7.1?
Okay. Any other changes? Mr. Anderson?
I was just gonna second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
I'm not a. Yay.
Okay. Passes unanimously. Okay, minutes. 6.1, consideration and possible approval of the minutes of the Sparks City Council meeting for April 8th, 2019. Anybody want to pull anything, changes? Looking for a motion? Mr. Dara.
I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Looking for a second, Mr. Anderson.
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, we'll get into announcement presentations, and you're going to be here a while on these things. So we'll take 7.5, Proclamation for National Day of Prayer. Mr. Dare.
So I know we have some pastors here. I saw a couple had to leave, it looks like, but if you are here for this, would you want to come on down? I know. Are you our sole survivor? Mighty. Let me go ahead and read this. You can come right there. You sit down. Yeah, sure. And I'll read this, and then you can share if you want to share anything. This says, whereas the National Day of Prayer was established by a joint resolution of Congress in 1952 and signed into law by President Harry S. Truman, and whereas in 1988 the law was amended and signed by President Ronald W. Reagan, permanently setting the day as the first Thursday of May every year, and whereas each year the President signs a proclamation encouraging all Americans to pray on this day, and in 2005 state governors and governors of several U.S. territories signed similar proclamations, whereas the City of Spark recognizes this special day and joins with Americans across the nation in support of the National Day of Prayer. Now, therefore, I, Christopher Dare, with our Mayor, Ronald E. Smith, and all of our City Council, declare May 2nd, 2019 as the National Day of Prayer.
Give us a couple words of wisdom, Barb.
Well, the words of wisdom are that our country always needs our prayers. And so I hope all of you will join us on May 2nd. There's going to be a prayer meeting on the grounds of our city, of our county building facility, 1001 West 9th Street at noon on May 2nd. But wherever you are, just pray for our nation. It needs it, and we know it does. Thank you so much for the proclamation.
Thank you. Thanks, Barb. Okay, 7.1, Proclamation 50th Anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week. Okay, to a Sparks finest. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists through the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, country, and international professional organizations. Now therefore, I, Ron Lee Smith, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim May 5th to the 11th, 2019 as the 50th anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent, and for keeping us out of trouble, because I know you keep a close eye on this. Go ahead, and then we'll take a picture.
I actually just want to say really quick that I greatly appreciate Julie and the rest of the city clerk staff for all of the work and dedication that they do to keep the city clerk's office running smoothly, and to you, Mr. Mayor, and the city council for recognizing the 50th anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week.
Thank you, Lisa. Julie, you want to say anything?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, 7.2, proclamation for ALS Awareness Month. Is there somebody here?
Yes, there is. Come on down. You all can go down. Everyone come.
Come on down.
How are you? Good to see you.
Hi.
Okay, I'll read this for you. It says, whereas it is a pleasure of the Sparks City Council to recognize and honor those organizations that seek to protect and enhance the quality of life for the less fortunate. And whereas ALS, sometimes called Lou Gehrig's disease, is a rapidly progressive, invariably fatal neurological disease that attacks the nerve cells responsible for controlling voluntary muscles. It does not affect the person's ability to see, smell, taste, hear, or recognize touch. And whereas as many as 20,000 people in the United States have ALS, and an estimated 6,000 people in the United States are diagnosed with the disease each year, approximately 250 persons living in Nevada are currently diagnosed with ALS. And whereas every 90 minutes, someone in the United States is diagnosed and passes away from ALS. And whereas military veterans are twice as likely to develop ALS as those that have not served in the military. And whereas in the advanced stages, ALS care can cost up to $200,000 per year, depleting the financial resources of patients and their relatives. And whereas the suffering of patients and the anguish of the caregivers must be supported and alleviated, now therefore our Mayor, Ronald E. Smith, Mayor of the City of Sparks, declares May 2019 as ALS Awareness Month. So congratulations. And I just want to say I'm honored to be on the ALS State Board and serve with these guys. And it's such an important thing when we can step out. There's so many different things that are affecting people's lives. And so, did you want to share something?
Thank you, first of all, for declaring May ALS Awareness Month. It's very personal to me. My brother was diagnosed 5 years ago, and we're blessed that he's still alive and doing well. I've seen the progression from him in a wheelchair to having nurses come to the house to having my sister-in-law care for him. He now has an oxygen tank, and he's looking at now the technology for the eye-to-speech. And so I'm just grateful. He lives in Las Vegas, and that Northern Nevada is recognizing that and bringing awareness. And I just want to put a little plug in, too, for the walk on May 4th. We're doing our ALS annual walk at Miraloma Park at 12 noon. And I have some flyers, so I'll leave them out at the table for everyone. But it's a quick 1.2 miles, so it's not too strenuous. But just if you could all come out and support the cause, would be greatly appreciated. And thank you again, Chris.
Thank you. Christopher. That's a Sunday?
It's a Saturday. Yeah, May 4th.
Okay, May 3rd.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, 7.3 is Arbor Day.
We have anyone here for Arbor Day? No tree huggers?
Here comes Tracy.
Come on, I'm a tree hugger. Trees are awesome. Hey, I didn't say I was politically correct. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees reduce erosion of precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate, why am I getting back? I'm gonna keep it, moving it away from me. Moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, which giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in the city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of the business area, beautify our community, and are a source of joyful spiritual renewal. And whereas Sparks is recognized as a Tree City, USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation. Now therefore, Ronald D. Smith, Mayor of the City of Sparks, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2019 as Arbor Day. First, Tracy, you want to take a picture?
I'll talk quick. Thank you, Mayor Smith and council members. Tracy Dominguez, Parks and Recreation Director. I want to thank you for your ongoing support of everything we do through Parks and Recreation, as well as obviously our park maintenance crew is amazing through Community Services Department. If you didn't notice, at Shadow Mountain this weekend, we had I don't know how many Rotarians there helping us to plant 40 trees. Shadow Mountain, 47 trees, sorry. And they did 30 last fall. So we've had to remove trees due to disease and infestation. And so the facility looks really bare. And without the help of the Rotarians, we could not have replaced these trees. So I want to do a shout out for that. Thank you. Oh, okay, sorry. That was a big, yeah. No, thank you. One last announcement. This Friday, on the 26th, we are going to be at Sepulveda Elementary School at 9:15 a.m. to plant our annual tree for Arbor Day celebration. So please join us.
Okay, 7.4, proclamation National Bike Month and Bicycle Safety Month and Washoe County Bike Month. I guess you're the one that's going to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's me.
thank you.
All right, thank you. So whereas promoting alternative forms of transportation such as bicycling helps to improve health and well-being while reducing emissions, traffic congestion, and America's dependence on fossil fuels, and whereas creating bicycle-friendly communities has been shown to improve quality of life by fostering community spirit, improving traffic safety, and stimulating economic growth. And whereas bicycle infrastructure in the Truckee Meadows offers great potential and opportunities to positively impact our recreation and tourism industry by making the region attractive to residents, visitors, and new incoming businesses who enjoy healthy lifestyles in the outdoors. And whereas Nevadans with experience will experience the joys and benefits of bicycling through the month of May through educational safety programs, community events, or going to an individual or group bike ride. Whereas the education of our entire community on the proper and safe operation of motor vehicles and bicycles sharing the use of the streets is important to ensure the safety and respect of all users on Nevada roadways. And whereas the month of May has been declared National Bike Month since 1956. Now, therefore, Ron Smith, Mayor Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim the month of May as National Bike Month, Bicycle Safety Month, and Washoe County Bike Month.
Yeah, so people ride bikes, pays many dividends to society. Bikes don't pollute, drastically lowers your carbon footprint over driving. You're more connected to your community when you're riding through it at 10, 15 miles per hour, you know, smelling the flowers, feeling the wind. Riding contributes to a healthier population, both physically and mentally. With this proclamation and the really world-class infrastructure that you guys have put in on the Victorian Avenue cycle track and the Audi cycle track that's planned, Sparks has taken really great first steps at making biking a viable transportation choice alongside driving. And with those kind of level of infrastructure and things like this, it won't just be for brave, fit, very skillful riders. It'll just be a person on a bike. You know, anybody can go do it with their kids, with their grandparents, whatever. So it's very great to see the city support this and RTC as well. And on behalf of the Truckee Meadows Bicycle Alliance, thank you very much.
Oh, you didn't, what was your name for the record? Andrew Samuelson. Okay. Thanks, Andrew. Okay, 7.6, Older Americans Month. Let's get those young people down here.
Everyone come down, yeah.
Come on down. Is this part of the committee?
Yep.
Yay.
Marcy the firecracker.
Welcome.
I have it now.
Come on down.
They're on it, yeah.
There we go.
Perfect.
Wow.
I don't know, I think we're a quorum.
Just
Where's the attorney?
Yeah, see, now you're busted. Over 2 million people watch the city council.
I know, it's on me, I know. That's okay, it's a good problem. Awesome. So, whereas the city of Sparks includes a growing number of older Americans who enrich our community through their diverse life experiences, and whereas the city of Sparks is committed to strengthening our community by connecting with and supporting older adults, their families and caregivers, and acknowledging their many valuable contributions to society, and whereas the city of Sparks recognizes the importance of bringing together all generations and engaging in activities that promote physical, mental, and emotional well-being for the benefit of all. And whereas the city of Sparks can enhance the lives of older Americans in our community by promoting home and community-based services that support independent living, involving older adults in community events and other activities, and providing opportunities for adults to work, volunteer, lead, and mentor. Or learn, lead, and mentor. I was like, why am I saying lead twice? And now, therefore, Ronald E. Smith, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, here to proclaim May 29th, May 2019 as Older Americans Month.
I just want to say we got some really cool events happening in Sparks during Older Americans Month. So I passed out some flyers, and then there's a brochure, but we're really proud of what we got going on in Sparks. We have an ice cream social at the Senior Center. We have Baldini's has a fire and fall prevention fair. We have a walking tour, thanks to Councilmember Abbott, at the Sparks Heritage Museum. Our May 13th Sparks City Council meeting is part of it. And on the 16th, we have the District Attorney, Chris Hicks, and his Chief Investigator, Michelle Bays. On the 22nd, we have our Sparks Police Chief, Brian Allen, at the Larry D. Johnson Community Center. On the 23rd, we have our Fire Inspector, James Recob, at the Sparks Library. And on May 30th, we have our new Sheriff, Darren Balaam, at the Spanish Springs Library. So really great events, I think, we have happening in Sparks.
You know, I thought you'd kind of ease into this, but apparently not. Congratulations, you guys. Thank you so much. And don't we have the senior day at the,
Oh, opening ceremonies is May 1 at
21st.
9th Street Senior Center from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we're going to have a table there. Our new Sparks Senior Citizen Advisory
Hey.
Committee is going to have a table to let everybody know we're here.
And if I can add just one thing, she hasn't had coffee yet.
I know. Go ahead and,
Thank you.
thank
for
you
all-
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for being
I know it
so
took a while to
supportive.
get it together, but good stuff. Come over here and take a picture with Donald. I know, she's like, she's 20 years old. I know. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, 7.6, Older Americans Month. Nope, we did that. National Day of Prayer. How about, that's a, how about One Truckee River Month? Yay!
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to read a proclamation on behalf of the mayor. Whereas the Truckee River flows 121 miles from Lake Tahoe to Pyramid Lake and is a prime source of water for Sparks and is a collaboration of public and private partners working together to realize a river that flows clean and clear. And whereas One Truckee River works to sustain the river's natural ecology, cultural resources, and wildlife, and to connect citizens and visitors with an unparalleled opportunities for recreation and regeneration. And whereas the health of the Truckee River is integral to the health of our community, and time spent on and near the river encourages stewardship of the river and surrounding watershed. And whereas the benefits of a clean river include clean drinking water for our citizens and recreational opportunities that bring economic value to the city of Sparks. And whereas the city of Sparks demonstrated its commitment to One Truckee River vision and partnership by adopting the One Truckee River Management Plan in September 2016. And whereas the One Truckee River Plan goals include building an aware and engaged community that protects and cares for the river and identifies a month-long celebration event to connect people to the river through place-based activities and programs for the entire community. Now, therefore, on behalf of Ronald D. Smith, Mayor of the City of Sparks, we hereby proclaim May 2019 as One Truckee River Month. Thank you.
Sure. My name's Carrie Jensen. I'm AmeriCorps for One Truckee River. And I just wanted to thank the council and the mayor for your support of our management plan and the efforts of One Truckee River Month. And just to highlight a couple of the events in Sparks this year, we're having the Kiwanis Riding on the River Family Festival at Cottonwood Park on May 18th. And also on May 25th, the historic River Talk at the Sparks Heritage Museum. So we hope to see everybody at those events.
The deal at Cottonwood Park, that's usually in the afternoon. Is it later in the afternoon?
It's from 10 to 2.
Okay.
And my name is Sophie Butler. I'm one of the other AmeriCorps for One Truckee River. We're really excited this year. We have almost 100 events on our calendar happening throughout the month of May, and we have events all the way from Lake Tahoe to Pyramid Lake. So if you ever go to our website, onetruckeeriver.org, you can see our full listing of events. It promises to be a really, really fun month.
Good stuff, good stuff. Can we get a picture? I know. Thank you. Okay, 7.8, we have a presentation on the Mayor's Challenge. Let everybody know what that is.
I will, I promise.
Great, thank you, Julie, I appreciate it. Good afternoon, my name is Kim Donahue for the record. I work for the Nevada Department of Veterans Services. Oh, I do it? Is it under the PowerPoint one? I see it. I think so. I don't know, I've had a lot of technical difficulties lately. Okay, let's see. Do I just keep hitting next on this? Will it go into a PowerPoint slide? Scroll down, okay. Okay, so I'm sure many of you are wondering what the Mayor's Challenge is, and so I'd love to share with you, and I thank you for this opportunity, all of you. What the Mayor's Challenge is it's a collaboration with 3 federal agencies. It's the Department of Veteran Affairs, the Department of Health and Human Services, and the U.S. Department of Defense. They've all come together to form under SAMHSA, which you'll hear the acronym stands for Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. SAMHSA then put our department, Nevada Department of Veterans Services, as the team lead for the 2019 Mayor's Challenge. What that Mayor's Challenge is it's a collaboration of municipal, military, and other community stakeholders in our communities. We formed together. So back in 2017 was the first inaugural Mayor's Challenge, which kicked off in March of 2018. I happen to be on the Las Vegas Mayor's Challenge team. So for the last year, I've been actively involved in SAMHSA's Mayor's Challenge. They contacted our department, and Reno Sparks was selected as the next team lead. And so our team, strategically putting our team together, I decided that when you have Reno, Sparks is right there with us. We are a team, and I feel that we are joined at the hip. I think that we can make a lot more change together. So our team decided not only to call ourselves originally the Reno Sparks Mayor's Challenge team, but we also extended that to include the city of Sparks, the city of Reno, the Washoe County, Washoe Valley, and we're very excited this year, and this is the first year that we've been able to have our tribal colonies join us at the table. So we have developed quite a strong and powerful team, and I'm very excited that all of us can come together to collaborate to help end veteran suicide. Also in this effort, I believe not only since our lane of traffic with SAMHSA under the entities is veterans, this initiative will reach many far and wide, and not just our veteran population, but we aim to help reduce the rates among our service members, our veterans, and our family members. You'll hear the acronym SMVF, and that stands for, or VF, service members, veterans, and their family members. And as many of you know, when the veteran serves, the family serves just as much. And so that's why I am very excited that SAMHSA has included this to cover all of our entities. I thought that this phrase was really powerful by the VA Secretary Robert Wilkie, and it says, the Mayor's Challenge provides a roadmap for how communities can contribute to the national effort for preventing veteran suicide. As you saw in the video, it isn't just going to be Nevada Department of Veterans Services or the Veteran Affairs that is going to help solve this public health crisis. It is going to be numerous agencies, and it's going to take all of us to collaborate together. SAMHSA has provided us, I believe, what I call an incredible platform for our state. We already have some foundation on suicide prevention, but this Mayor's Challenge is allowing us to really build and grow on the foundation. So as I had mentioned, I am also a team member on the Las Vegas team, now leading the team up here in Northern Nevada. I did let SAMHSA know, and some of my team members are here today, and they know that I love to go big and I love to go strong, that I put us in for the Governor's Challenge as well. So I am hoping that we will get word at the end of this year. I am hoping that SAMHSA selects the state of Nevada to participate in the Governor's Challenge. And for me and for our state, I believe that would help round off and help provide the strong tools that we need to help bring our suicide rates to zero. I'd like to share with you, these are the participating cities this year that are in the 2019 Mayor's Challenge. You can see that we've got our Truckee Meadows team up there, so I'm very proud to be leading this. I need to back up a little bit. The reason that our state was selected, I don't want to be a downer, but the reality is that the state of Nevada is in the top 10 for suicide rates among our veterans. And I'm waiting for the official word to come out. I believe we are actually in the top 5. The Mayor's Challenge, they selected our team on our data and our prevalence of where our suicides are in the state, and also on our city's ability to lead the team. I just would like to show you just a little breakdown so everyone can kind of get, I like to have a little foundation of what I'm talking about, and so I thought this slide might help you. It lets you know our numbers are a little bit above 218,000, and one of the things I like to point out that the video pointed out, that out of our 20 veterans that are taking their life a day, there's only 6 that are connected through the VA. That means the other 14 are out in our community. And so that is why the Mayor's Challenge is so important for us, to all of the agencies to participate, because they're not just at the VA, they are out in our communities and they are among us. I'd like to point out too that Carson has right under 5,000 veterans, and with Washoe in there, and we have not counted the tribal colonies in that, we're probably looking close to over 45,000 in our team of the area that we are looking to contribute and make a change. I'd like to share with you just some of the quick action items. Under the short-term ones, I like to talk about this. It's so important of how we're identifying our military population. We've seen a lot of change in our crisis response teams, and that's something that I feel that we can make a huge impact up here in our area, and that's with asking the question, have you ever served in the military? Not, are you a veteran? Many folks who have served don't consider themselves a veteran because they haven't served in combat. So identifying and asking on intake forms, our crisis response teams can learn to ask, have you ever served? That then can help an interagency link that we're looking to create with our law enforcement here in Reno and Sparks, in Washoe, and in our tribal enforcement area, where we are identifying and then how to tap them in with the resources that they need. Also to raise awareness, one of the things is we'd like to develop a street team on, instead of firearms, it's more a suicide prevention, and that is in regards to many different forms of lethal means. That's not just, I know everyone thinks of lethal means right off of the back as gun control or gun safety, but also medications. Those are also considered a form of lethal means, and so creating a task force that can bring awareness to our communities and also make an impact. Other ones is making sure that we educate our communities on military culture awareness. I'm sure in many of our state and federal and community organizations, there are a very large number that have served and are veterans themselves, making sure that we're supporting the employees and helping them have a successful health and well-being. I would like to say thank you to Mayor Smith for accepting the Mayor's Challenge. Mayor Smith was the first agency and the first individual who accepted the Mayor's Challenge. I would like to thank you, sir, for your leadership and standing out and accepting the challenge. It shows greatly, and I know that I've got a few other team members here. I have Councilman Anderson, I have Councilman Dare. I also have Mr. Walt Rosenberg in the audience, who is also on our team as well. So bringing these agencies together, you can take a look. We have hit very hard and wide to make sure that we are covering our bases. One thing I would like to say, and I have said it before, is it isn't going to just be one agency that's going to solve this. It's going to be numerous agencies, and it's going to take all of us together. And there was a really powerful quote that was said at a rural suicide prevention conference. I just traveled back to DC twice with 2 different teams for the Mayor's Challenge. And there was a statement that was said, and I think it's really powerful, and if I could leave everybody with this comment: if people know what they can do to help, they will help. If people know what to watch for, they will watch. And if people know how to support someone, they will support them. So I thank you. This Mayor's Challenge allows us the tools in our toolbox of life to help save somebody's life. So I thank you for your time today.
You know, Kim, I want to congratulate you. There are so many veterans organizations out there, and you're exactly right. You have to bring them together to get the job done, get them on the same page. They're not always on the same page. And then I'd like to congratulate Councilman Anderson. Went back to DC for a week, and he jumped in with both feet.
Yes, he did,
Very
sir.
excited about this, as well as Councilman Dare.
Yes.
So thank you for everything you've done. I think it's outstanding work you're doing.
I just really, again, would like to thank you for the city of Sparks has really stood out and really embraces their community, and the passion amongst everyone is very evident, and I thank you. I know that it took a lot of time out of your schedule and out of yours, but what's fantastic, sir, is that when I'm out at a lot of many meetings in our communities, I see a lot of your council members, and
shows that.
so I thank you for that collaboration, sir. That's how we will make change.
Okay,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Anderson.
Again, just wanted to say, Mayor Smith, thank you very much for getting involved in this. It's frightening, the number of lives that are lost to suicide. And Kim, thank you for what you're doing. If we can make a change and save one life, it's worth it.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Kim, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, 7.9, NDOT, proposed safety projects. Come on down.
No, I'm not going after you.
I know, I was gonna say Ward 3. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Lori Campbell, and I work for Traffic Safety Engineering at NDOT. And do I do next or scroll like Kim did? Actually, I know this program. New slide. Yeah, I thought I knew this program. I just wanted to give, thank you very much for your time today. I'm very excited to talk to you about some projects that we have coming up, and wow, this is close. You guys, I get to do it. Wow.
We want to be able to reach out and hit you.
High five me.
Okay, high five, yeah.
So I'm going to start off with, in January of 2018, my team finished what we call a safety management plan. A safety management plan is a traffic study. It's a planning level and engineering level planning study that we collaborate with the City of Sparks, with the Washoe, RTC, and local stakeholders. We had a bike ped person that was involved in this as well. And we look at an entire corridor, not just that one spot location, to see what kinds of improvements we need to do along a corridor. We found that when we were fixing things in spots, we were just moving them down the road. So now we're looking at corridors and traffic safety. So this location came up because it had a higher than average crash rate and crash frequency, especially amongst our multi-users, so pedestrians, bicyclists, as well as the vehicles. It was a great team effort. I have listed here the folks that were involved, and we did hold a public meeting in November that was, I'm proud to say, fairly well attended. It's hard to get people to come out until the orange cones show up. So as a planganeer is what I call myself, we have to really bring the community in. So, but it was very, very well attended and very well received. So the projects that I'm going to talk about, they're being funded under the federal funding of the Highway Safety Improvement Program, which I oversee for the state of Nevada. And what the priorities in this project follow our strategic highway safety plan. And in that, we have focus areas. One of them is intersections, another is pedestrians and bicycles. So those are some of the things that we really tried to focus on in this study. As you'll see in the little puzzle piece, we did the plan. That's the blue part. I'm pointing here, you can't see it, where it says plan. Then we did the evaluation. I sat down with Amber Sosa and Jim Herman, awesome staff members that you have in your transportation engineering department. And we looked at the plan and decided what we would be able to do along this corridor with this amount of funding. And now we are in the implementation stage where we're doing the design. And they asked me to come in and to bring our project to you. We're hoping to have our design done this summer, and then construction would start as soon as we can in the spring. So depending on what kind of spring we have next year. So, yeah. So we had to divide our projects up into 2 phases. 1, because we have more funding available if we break it up into 2 phases. And 2, because some of we had a few right-of-way needs and just some more complications and some of the stuff that we did not want to let go. So in phase 1, I'm very excited because I am a transportation geek, that we are constructing a beautiful, and this is not the final design, so don't hold me to this because it's way better. This is just the graphic I had available at the time. A beautiful roundabout at the McCarran Bering intersection. There's a lot of positive things that will come from this roundabout. As you know, coming into this intersection from the north, there's a big sweeping turn, which has caused us a lot of crashes. It's also, we have the residents nearby that are, outside of safety. They're frustrated with the cars sitting there and making all the noises. I heard a couple of resident owners that are back up along that intersection. If I don't have to hear another motorcycle rev engine or a young kid playing their stereo really loud on a beautiful summer evening, that would be great. So I was very excited, and the design that we have on our team has designed over 250 roundabouts, and I'm super duper impressed with the roundabout that we have in design right now. The other thing that we're doing in the phase 1 project is taking the McCarran and Gregg Street and McCarran and Glendale intersections, where as you can see in this picture, you have the very broad, wide, sweeping right-hand turn. We call it a slip lane. We are making that back to more of a traditional turn lane. We found in the past, NDOT was, and the transportation engineers across the country, we're working on getting cars through faster, more cars, faster cars. And we've learned that we have not done a service to all of our other users. We are also, Nevada is an older age focused state, and these types of turns are very difficult for those of us in this category to make that turn and to do that yield movement. So we are trying across the region to, whenever we can, to change that, and as you can see here, to a better angle for cars and a better merge movement. And we had a number of crashes there. We have a lot of heavy trucks coming through there, and I don't know if anybody stood there recently, but it's a little bit scary because they're almost coming across on 2 wheels. So we're really excited about making those safety improvements as well. The third improvement in our phase 1 project is a pedestrian fence. Again, I'm sorry, this is not what your fence is going to look like. It's going to be so much better. With the pedestrian fatalities that we've had along this stretch, a majority of them have been jaywalkers. While I was driving here today, there was another one. I so wanted to get my phone out and take a picture, but I was the driver, so I could not do that. In a state car, too, so I definitely couldn't do that. But what we're finding is if we can put pedestrian fencing in and guide people to a safer place to cross, that they will shrug and moan, but they will do it, and it's safer for the cars. It's better for the flow of the traffic. What I saw today and what we saw when we were doing these studies is when cars are stopping in very awkward situations and you get the secondary crash. We often get, sadly, somebody hit in the other lane when the car stops here and the people don't know why they're stopping, and then they get here, and that poor driver has to deal with that as well as the pedestrian. So we have designed a pedestrian fence because that median is very narrow. That will be car friendly and beautiful. And I have a landscape architect that has come up with a really cool design that we've recently shared with your planning folks as well. And so I'm very excited about it, because if this is very well received, I'm going to use it in a lot of other places. The other thing I wanted to mention about the roundabout is I did, with Jim Herman, give a presentation to the fire department that's near this intersection, and they're very excited about it. Roundabouts are great for emergency vehicles because they don't have cars sitting in the intersection waiting for them. They clear out a lot quicker, and they can get around and do the response much faster. And there's a lot less crashes for them to respond to. So that's what we have in our phase 1. In our phase 2 scope, we have some things that required us to get right away. The right of way along this stretch of road is crazy. It's here, it's there, it's in, it's out. So my right-of-way agents are going to be very busy this next year obtaining just a wee bit of right-of-way that we need to put in these improvements that I have listed here. So I like the pictures better. So one of the things that we're going to do is put in a mid-block crossing where we've had 2, it might be 3, I apologize for not remembering, fatalities during the jaywalking. So it'll be in conjunction with the pedestrian fence. So we'll fence them this year to a separate place to cross, and then we'll give them a mid-block crossing with the rapid reticular flashing beacons. That's a big one to say. I always say RFBs. And additional street lighting to light up that location. So our hope is the combination of the two will make this a safer place for the pedestrians to cross in between the signals. The other thing that we are going to be doing is a lot of these ADA improvements, but we need to bump it out to do that. And then when we're done, put in a buffered bicycle lane to connect what you have already out there. As I heard before, you do have a great bicycle-friendly community, and we wanted to use our project to help connect some of those trails that you already, and lanes that you already have out there. And I feel like I'm missing something. The sidewalk and the shared use path. As you can see in the picture on the bottom left, there's lots of stretches along this corridor that do not have sidewalks. And so we are trying to work with getting enough right-of-way so that we can put in either a multi-use path or a sidewalk, or possibly both in some locations, so that the pedestrians will stay on the road. I've seen where a pedestrian walks behind one car to get across the street, and it's, as a safety professional, it's very scary because I know what happens most of the time. So we're hoping that when we're finished with these 2 phases, that this corridor will have good sidewalks, good bike usage, and great places to cross. So I think that's all I have in these 2 phases. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions or comments? Ms. Bybee?
I just had a quick question, Lori. Are sound walls along McCarran, do sound walls fall into any of these projects, or is that separate from, because you're doing the road safety, but sound walls, which also obviously improve safety for residents that are there, not just sound, but for accidents, you know, there's still a lot of sections throughout Sparks, but all along the McCarran corridor that some have the sound walls and some do not. Does that come into any of these projects?
We have not included those in our projects at this time. They weren't part of the safety management plan study that we talked about.
Okay.
The tricky thing with the sound walls is they are on the border of our property and your property, so it's just a little, who's going to maintain it if it gets hit? I call it the M word. Of arguing over whose maintenance it is. But if there is a location that you would like for us to look at, I can definitely work with Jim and see whose jurisdiction that falls into there. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lawson.
So how much are you going to reduce the speed at Bering and McCarran with the roundabout?
Great question.
Well, I happen to be 6 houses from there, so, and
Okay.
I back up to that. So I hear the
People that love the motorcycle driving.
He's the
I
motorcycle.
am-
motorcycle.
I'm the one making the noise.
Very good. One of the things that this study.
And my stereo is really loud too, so.
My husband's is really loud too. So one of the things that the study really pointed out is that we needed to reduce the speeds along this corridor. And we had a lot of, be careful out there. We had it had a higher than average motorcycle crash rate along this corridor also. And I had our motorcycle CEA critical emphasis area chair ride it for me while we were doing the study and said, what is wrong with the engineering design of this road? It's nothing, it's fun. So, yeah, so I guess it's fun.
Well, it is, but trying to pull off of York onto McCarran southbound,
Right.
you can't see, and there are a lot of speeders there. So that's my real question is, we're gonna slow them down to, by the time they get to York, they'll be doing 80 again, or
No,
they're only gonna get up to
hopefully
about
not.
40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea of choosing, because we had a number of locations that this safety management plan recommended for roundabouts. And the idea of choosing this one was for that's how it started, is to slow the cars down as they're coming out of the rural area and coming into where it's a little bit more congested. So the roundabouts definitely work as a traffic calming and will slow down the cars.
So
Our plan is to watch it and see how humans behave after they come out of there. And then if we need to do some safety improvements along that Yorks area, then we'll come up with, we'll make
I'm just
recommendations.
more curious
for that.
about the roundabout itself, because that's 45 miles an hour,
Right,
which is
so-
normally, that means 60. So when you slow down for the roundabout, you're gonna be going
25?
25?
Yeah.
So that's gonna help tremendously.
Definitely.
Just in that aspect, it'll
Correct.
at least keep that 60-mile-an-hour car or motorcycle from hitting York so quickly.
Correct, yeah. I had a lot of folks say, why did you choose that one? This intersection's a lot worse. And the main reason that we chose this intersection is because it does start that corridor and starts giving a feel for that it's not a speedway. So,
Well, just for fun, there was, a couple years ago, we found a big Chevy Suburban out in the middle of the park in the morning that missed the curve there.
the park has been very awesome for us in this design
Good car
because
catcher.
we're able to use the fact that they have great sidewalks there to direct people away from the road and through the park. So that wasn't my idea, that was my designer's, but it's a great idea.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Mr. Rabbit?
Yeah, is there any more future public meetings for this?
Yes, sorry.
No problem.
So we have a public meeting when we do the study,
Mhm.
and then we'll follow up with a public meeting before we do the construction. So then we can tell people, this is the design. When we do it for the study, we say, this is what we're thinking, yay or nay. If you really hate it, let us know now. And so when we do the study, then we like to say, this is our construction time, this is what you're going to experience during construction. And so I like to do those right around the time that we're submitting our final plans, which would be the end of the summer.
Is there a way you could send that out?
I would
to
love
us?
for representatives to come to my public meeting. So I definitely
I
will do
think a
that.
couple of our wards right there, so.
Yeah, yes, definitely. And I'm also very willing to go give presentations at your wards. I've done that for Reno, and it was very successful before our public meeting. So if I get champions at my public meeting, then it's a much more fun public meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, any other questions or comments? Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much.
thank you for your time. She's got it.
Okay, 7.10, Reno Tahoe Airport Authority Annual Update.
I thought Mayor Lee traveled with better looking.
Yeah.
Here, single page view, but they're fierce.
Yes.
And then you'll have to scroll through because I'm not sure. That work? Sure. And then if you roll down, yep.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Marilee Mora, the CEO of the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority, and mayor, council members, city manager, and the public. I'm really delighted to be here to thank you, first of all, for the great support that the council does give to the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority. And I'm here really to thank you also for the awesome trustees that you have placed on our board. They're right behind me, and Sean Carey, appointed by the city of Sparks, and also Art Sperber. Both of your trustees have been very, very active on the board. Sean Carey, I think I was here last year, and Sean Carey was our chairman of the board. He is this year our liaison for our Reno-Stead Airport. And Art Sperber is the chair of our Planning and Construction Committee. Art Sperber also is our vice chair of our Airport Noise Advisory Committee and our Users Committee. Both of these trustees have been on number of panels to help us select vendors. They just really are truly engaged trustees, and you've done a great job of appointing both of these trustees. So quickly, I'm usually here once a year just to give you an update of what's going on with the Airport Authority. And we're the owners and operators of Reno Tahoe International Airport and Reno-Stead Airport. I have 9 passenger airlines that serve Reno Tahoe International, 3 cargo airlines, 3 runways. We're a 24/7 operation. So one of the things is, I think a lot of people don't think about the Airport Authority and our airports being an economic engine for the region. We recently updated our economic impact study last fall, and what we found is we probably, since probably about 6 years ago, we now contribute $3.1 billion a year, another $1 billion over what we had done in the past. 52 million of that money goes into tax revenues for Northern Nevada, and 11 million alone goes into the Washoe County School District. So I think what a lot of people don't realize too is that we don't take any local tax dollars. We are financially self-sufficient, and we operate on fees and rents collected by our airport tenants. What's extremely important is that 65% of our revenue comes from non-airline sources. And again, when you park at the airport, when you rent a car, when you buy something to eat or buy something on our retail opportunities, that really helps us operate the airport. But the more that we can generate non-airline revenues, that means we can keep our rates and charges at a very modest level to the airlines, and allows us to keep our airlines that we have at Reno Tahoe International there, and also gives us the opportunity to attract new airlines. So we're really proud of our map. The solid red lines are our year-round nonstop service, and then the dotted lines are seasonal service. A couple years ago, we added that flight to New York City on JetBlue to JFK. That was an important addition to what we have for our local residents. We also added service with Volaris Airlines to Guadalajara, Mexico. That flight operates 3 to 4 times a week. We've really built up, I think, flights in both the San Francisco Bay Area and Los Angeles. And right now, some of those flights that you see that are seasonal, we're working on making those year-round flights. We constantly work on new opportunities, new airlines, and really growing our air service to the community. Last year was a great year, 4.2 million passengers, and that was almost a 5% increase in our passengers. So really things are moving in the right direction. We went through a period during the recession, that we lost airline service and we lost passengers, but now we've had 45 months of consecutive growth. Really all the great things I think that you're doing in the community, all the great economic uplift in this community really is paying dividends really in terms of passenger growth at Reno Tahoe International. Thank you. Just exciting things I know happening in Sparks and downtown Sparks, and really again we appreciate all that economic activity helping us to grow our airport. We have the Regional Air Service Corporation, and when I talk about new air service, it probably wouldn't be possible without having local consortium to help us market new flights. And many times when we go out to airlines now, we are competing with 400 other communities to get that asset of an aircraft to come into our community. So we've got a growing network of businesses and convention and visitors bureaus and tourism partners that are part of the Regional Air Service Corporation. And again, this is a group that can help us with risk mitigation and bringing in a new airline or a new route, or providing the marketing support to make sure that we do get a new flight, that we're able to sustain it and keep it in our community. In the legislative session, we've had AB 242, which was an air service development fund, similar to how we like to have all of our local community help with air service development. This is the third time that we've sought the help of really the state, because many states do partner in trying to help with air service. And particularly in the last sessions, this was, and again in this session, it was really to provide Reno Elko service and Elko to Las Vegas. We've been told there's going to be no funding for this because it was $1 million of each of 2 years. So what our latest amendment is that there would be a mechanism put into place through this legislation that would be, if funding ever comes available, that mechanism is there, that the state would contribute 80%, and there would be a local match of 20% for an air service opportunity. And again, this was really to support air service within the state of Nevada, particularly the Reno Elko and Elko Las Vegas routes. One of the exciting things that's happened at Reno Tahoe International is that we just completed a master plan. This is a roadmap for our facility for the next 20 years. The type of improvements that we're going to be seeing is one of the first ones will be, we're going to be bumping out the front of our ticketing area. We're going to be adding some restrooms down there really to have a better passenger flow in the airline ticketing area. We're going to be building a consolidated rental car facility, and unlike other airports where you have to take a shuttle, that will not be the case at Reno Tahoe International. It will be within walking distance of the terminal. And really what we sought in the master plan is to get a win-win both for rental cars and for parking at the airport so that they both remain within walking distance of the terminal, and we were able to achieve that. So great success, I think, in the master plan being able to do that. Both of our concourses are over 40 years old, so it's time to replace them. And we will be starting that with the replacement of Concourse C. We can look to be doing that in the next 4 to 6 years. So these are big projects ahead. And, you know, it's a huge capital investment that we're going to be making at Reno Tahoe International. And it's in the tune of about, let me just get my number here. It's $1.6 billion if we look at all of these projects together. This just gives you kind of a perspective and what we're going to be doing. The existing parking structure across the street from the terminal stays, and then we will be looking at putting, again, a consolidated rental car facility to the north. The middle concourse is the C concourse that we'll be replacing first, and then we'll be replacing the C concourse. And we have the opportunity, should there be growth in the future beyond the 20-year time frame, obviously another new concourse. We also are looking at moving cargo to the south of the airport in the southwest area. One of the things that we have heard from our customers is that we need more varieties of food. We need healthier food options. So one of the things that happened at Reno Tahoe International is just almost a year and a half ago, we had a common use business lounge open. It's called the Escape Lounge. It was the 4th location in the US for the Escape Lounge. You pay $40 if you book ahead or $45 on the spot. But if you're a Platinum American Express, and there are plenty of those people here in the area, you can get into the Escape Lounge free. That Escape Lounge has been busy from day one and doing quite well. More recently, in last December, Vino Volo opened. And right if you come up the escalator out of the TSA checkpoint, there's Vino Volo at the top of the stairs. Don't want to make any quip about what you might need to go to Vino Volo after you've been through TSA, because our TSA does a phenomenal job. But Vino Volo is also doing very well, and there's Verdi Market right next to the Vino Volo, and this is all Nevada products. So really great opportunity, I think, for people that want to shop and bring something back from Nevada. There's fresh food to go because more and more people, you know, do need to have grab and go to go have food on the aircraft. We're going to be opening, focused more on food, and going forward, we're going to be opening soon a Subway, which will be on the C concourse. We already have a McDonald's. Now you have another fast food selection at the airport. And then we're going to, in the main lobby area before the checkpoint, we're going to have a Harley-Davidson store. So unique apparel down in there. So again, expanding our food and retail options at the airport. If you've been by the airport lately, you've seen construction right at our entry, and that's an Aloft Hotel. It's a hotel it's right next to our Hyatt Place Hotel. And Aloft will be a new brand, I think, for our community. It's more millennial oriented. You open keyless entry with your smartphone, and if you want to order some more towels, you have a butler, a robot butler that will bring that to you. So we're looking to open, that the Aloft Hotel will open in January of next year. So really, really great addition to the airport as well. You know, we continuously take customer service surveys and we've had a rating of 6.45 out of 7. I think people like us because we're convenient. They like us because we have the Pause for Passenger program. And thank you, Councilmember Bybee. I know your father was a member of this and his dog for a long time, and we really greatly appreciated all of that help. We have a Kindness Takes Flight team, which is made up of our administrative employees, and they constantly look for ways to just give, you know, random acts of kindness to our travelers, because travel can be very stressful. So the more that we can do to make it ease up that pressure and that stress, that's what we try to do on a daily basis. On the east side of the airport, you have Atlantic Aviation. They've made this is a fixed-based operator. They've made a huge investment, over $15 million to their facility. And they also, the same kind of ambiance that we really have, kind of having that outdoor feel in our terminal, they have adopted the same kind of look really at their facility. One of the things they probably never expected when they open is that they would be really, really busy. Burning Man. Burning Man has grown. A lot of corporate aircraft, a lot of general aviation aircraft come in for Burning Man to this location. And last summer, or for the last year, in September, there were a tremendous number of helicopters going from Atlantic Aviation up to the Black Rock Desert. Dassault Aviation Services, a facility that services the Falcon jets, has been on our facility on the east side since 2008. Right now, we're in a process that the open land that we do have on the east side, we have put out a proposal and are looking at new opportunities for new companies to really be part of the growth on the east side of the airport. Reno-Stead Airport, this is our jewel, 5,000 acres. In the last 12 years, we've had more than $50 million invested into Reno-Stead Airport. One of the things I think most recently that we are known for is that in 2013, the state of Nevada was named as a test site for drones, testing of drones, but probably the most active test site is Reno-Stead Airport. And we have quite a bit of testing that's going to be going on in May. Some of the drone tests that are going to be done in downtown Reno, the dry run actually gets done at Reno-Stead. So the good thing about being a test site is all of these companies that come to test at Reno-Stead, and NASA has actually been developing the protocols for the integration of the drones into the manned airspace at Stead, is that when they come and they see our area, our hope is that they will bring their headquarters here, they will really reinvest and come and bring their business to our community. With that, I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for the amazing trustees that you have put on our board, and I really appreciate all the support the council members have given and the mayor to both of our airports. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Or you can have the questions for our trustees.
Yeah. They instead of just sitting there being good looking, they can come up and answer my questions. Ms. Bybee.
No questions, merely I'd just like to say, obviously, as someone who spent 42 years in the aviation industry, about to end that career, I spend a lot of time going through Reno-Tahoe Airport and comparing it to airports that I fly all over the country and all over the world. And I think we really do have a special airport that in an age it's tough. It's not always a pleasant experience because it is stressful. It's stressful. And what you have done at our airport is really made it more friendly, made everything from security, which can be painful at other locations, to really just top-notch staff and flow of passengers and new amenities, the artwork. I'd like to comment on how nice for people coming and going through the airport, the amount of art displays that you have on the walls as you're coming in. It just showcases our community and is welcoming on both ends for passengers coming through. And thank you for all the work you do. I think it's a top-notch job. And I'm also pleased to sit on your community outreach committee representing the city of Sparks and kind of looking at how the community can reach out and work with the airport more. But thank you all, and thank you, Art and Sean, too, for representing Sparks. You guys are awesome. Thanks.
Mr. Dare.
Thank you. I just want to say, when we travel, it's always nice to come home. Our airport's awesome, and even going through our airport, just even the ease of it. So you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Would you guys like to say anything? No? No? I want to thank you for giving us your yearly update. It's important, and we really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Merle. Thank you. Okay, 7-11, Boards and Commissions Vacancy Announcement, Arts and Culture Advisory Commission.
Mayor Smith, if it's okay with you, I'll walk through all 5 of the vacancies that I'm going to announce today, and then I'll wrap up with how somebody can actually apply for it. So 7.11 is a partial term for our Arts and Culture Advisory Committee. It's a partial term, as I've said, that will end November 6th of 2020, and we're looking for somebody with a humanities background. Item 7.12 is for the Washoe County Home Consortium Technical Review Committee. We are looking for 1 member to serve a 3-year term, and we are seeking a non-staff person, but they are not required to be technically proficient in the world of home consortium and the things that they look at there. So we're looking for a general citizen who's looking to help us serve. 7.13 is the Civil Service Commission. We're looking for 1 member there to serve a 3-year term. 7.14 for the Parks and Recreation Commission. We're looking for 2 members to serve each a 3-year term, and 1 member to fill a partial term that will end June 30th of 2020. And last but not least is 7.15 for the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority. We're looking for 1 member to serve a 4-year term. Persons interested in serving on these communities should complete a community service application available at the city clerk's office. You can also apply online at the city's website, www.cityofsparks.us. Click on Government on the webpage, then under Boards and Commissions, click Volunteering for a Sparks Board or Commission, then fill out the online application and submit. Applications for all 5 of these positions will be accepted until the close of business on May 31st of this year.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Move on to consent items. Anybody want to pull one? Looking for a motion. Mr. Dare.
I move to approve the consent items 8.1 and 8.2.
Okay, we have a motion. Look for a second. Mr. Lawson. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay. General business, 9.1, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the mayor's recommendation of appointment to a partial term to the Civil Service Commission from the following pool of applicants. Andrew, how do you say your last name? I don't want to put you. Andy, okay. Andy. Okay, Andy.
For the record, Neil Kreutz, City Manager. Here on the civil service vacancy, we've advertised for this for quite a while. We had a single applicant. I understand that the mayor had a conversation with him and is prepared to make a recommendation that the council must ratify.
Okay, I do have a certificate of appointment. This is to certify that a meeting at the Sparks City Council held on April 22nd, 2019, Andy was duly appointed to the Civil Service Commission for the term expiring June 30th, 2021. Congratulations, Andy. Come on down.
You're going to get voted in.
Yeah. Okay.
There is a formality.
Come on down here. We'll do this. Okay. Any questions or comments? Mr. Abbott.
I'll make that motion. I move to confirm the mayor's appointment of Andy to the Sparks Civil Service Commission for a partial term expiring June 30th, 2021.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. It passes unanimously.
Now you're good. I was worried.
Okay, Andy, so how do you say your last name?
Just no.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say Neville. Come on down, we'll get a picture here.
Just say no.
Just say
No.
Good job, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Okay, 9.2. Consider and discussion and possible approval of the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget recommendations and fiscal items, including the city's manager's recommendations for the City of Sparks final budget and the proposed 5-year capital improvement plan.
Good afternoon, Mayor Smith and member of the council. For the record, Neil Kreutz, your city manager, joined by
Jeff Kronk, your financial services director.
And we are pleased to be here in front of you today to seek your approval of what has amounted to several hundred hours of staff work and hours of your work as well, as we've presented this to you in a couple of different forums. This has been touched by dozens of people inside the city, and predominantly, you know, the lion's share of the work happens inside our financial services department and Jeff and his staff. But it takes input from each and every department in the city, in reviewing documentations, in making recommendations, seeking additional positions. There are hours and hours of work that went into preparing this budget. And this year was a little different than it has been for the last several years, in that we felt like we were going to have a little bit of money to spend in the year coming forward. And that was different because for so many years, really, since we quit laying people off, we've been hiring people in ones and twos. And, you know, we're here in front of you this year with a double-digit recommendation, 32 positions overall, 23 in the general fund and 9 in other funds that we are recommending for your approval as part of today's budget. And that kind of acted as a speed bump or a hurdle for us to get over at first, because it took us a while to wrap our heads around, is that real? And then how do we were all so challenged to provide services to the city. How do we want to take those funds and best apply them across the city to serve our citizens? So I want to recognize the work that went on from the group of department heads, and they're all sitting over here, and their seconds that went into those hours of discussions that we had, where we talked about what our various needs were. We had some good, honest, open discussion, at times debate that led to a good set of recommendations that we were able to come forward with. And with that said, I'm proud to stand in front of that. This has the city manager's budget recommendation on it, but it is so much more than that. This is a comprehensive document that we, as a staff of 500 inside your city, are pleased to stand here in front of you today and recommend for your approval. Jeff is going to go into some level of detail and talk about a little bit of a refresher on where we've been. And with that, I'm gonna shut up and turn the mic over to him.
Right? Yeah, we spent a lot of time on this, right? So for the record, Jeff Kronk, Financial Services Director. I do just want to read this first little part just to get it on the record and make sure we've got our dates right as far as what's going forward. So bear with me here just to get through some of the crossing the T's, so to speak. Today we're asking City Council to direct the City Manager to prepare the fiscal year 20 final budget. We're specifically asking for the direction that we received in the February 25th. I'm trying to remember my date there, February 25th workshop. The direction we got there today, or on that date, and today we're bringing forward the compilation of that direction, if you will. So specifically, between then and now, we've had to file the tentative budget, and that was done by law. We have to do that by April 15th. Going forward, we're going to be, based on direction we get today, bringing the final budget back to you on May 28th, which is a regularly scheduled council meeting. I believe it's a Tuesday. Monday is a holiday, so that is a little different. But right before we bring the final budget to you, we're going to hold a public hearing on that tentative budget in order to just get public input on that. This is a legislative session. So in years where we had the legislature meets, if they do something that impacts our budget, we do have an additional 30 days that if we need to, we can use to file an amended budget. We hope that's not the case, but it's it's there if need be. So that's the crossing the T, so to speak. What we've got in front of you today as an attachment to the agenda is what Neil referred to as the city manager's budget recommendation book. I was going to take you on a quick high flyover of what's in that, but before I do, I would be remiss if I didn't thank especially our budget team, led by Stacy Hemmerling, your budget administrator, and two of our accountants, Derek Herron and Jasmine Lozano. They've worked, Neil mentioned, tirelessly to prepare this document, and I'm really proud of this document because it's really a resource and a reference material that I keep on my desk every day. I mean, there's always a copy of it there, and I reference it nearly every day. But it's really something we've put a lot of effort into to make it user-friendly, and I can't emphasize that enough, where a lot of times these things are extremely dull, boring, and sometimes you can't get away from that because we're talking about 32 different funds for which we have to file a budget, and that gets really tedious. But we tried to organize this in a way that's as user-friendly as possible. So anyway, it's something I'm quite proud of, and just as a quick flyover, even just looking at what's in the table of contents, the things that you'll find in that book are really just an overview of the general fund. That's the one we talk about the most. But the section I'm probably most proud of, honestly, is the other funds, and that's what we're calling it, because there's a lot of other restricted type funds that have to be filed, have a formal filing process with the State Department of Taxation, but nobody really knows about them. Everybody talks about the general fund, and rightly so. I mean, that is where the bulk of our activities are done, but that other fund section is you're going to find all kinds of information on there. Just every fund is described and what the revenue source is and what the expenditures are and some of the struggles that we have and so on and so forth. So also in this book, we're going to have the redevelopment agency, which we're going to bring back to you, same kind of format at the redevelopment agency meeting. We've got other information in this book as far as a debt review, budgeted positions, the whole complement in the city. Department review, what each department does and kind of how they're structured. Our central service cost allocation plan, something specifically the State Department of Taxation asks us to put in this document so it's documented as to what's actually being approved. And of course, Neil had mentioned the new needs. And then as an appendix, one of the motions we're asking for you today is to approve the 5-year CIP plan. So you've had a separate workshop on that. We're not going to go over that today, but it is there, and we're asking for a final approval on that. So with that, I just wanted to give you a very brief overview of where we landed between last time we talked at our February 25th workshop and now. And honestly, there hasn't been that many changes, fairly insignificant. So I'm just going to go over them very briefly as to how we landed on our fiscal policies, but please, stop me and ask questions as I go along. Or if Neil has anything to add, he'll jump in as well. But very quickly, fiscal policy 1, you gave us direction that you didn't want to have a budget that was any lower than 6.0%, and that's what we're bringing forward to you today is an ending fund balance of a budget ending fund balance of 6.0% of our expenditures. It's still, I think it's important to note, it's still our stated goal, our stated formal adopted policy that we would achieve an 8.3%. So that is our goal from an actual perspective, but to give us the flexibility and budgeting authorization that we need, 6.0% is what the city manager is bringing forward to you today. The second one, general fund contingency budget, our second fiscal policy, that's included just as we had talked about at our workshop in February. At $1 million with a corresponding transfer in from the motor vehicles funds, if you recall that. Fiscal policy 3, again, no change on this as directed from the city, the budget workshop in February. We ended up at 2.5% of our general fund revenues are being transferred into the capital projects funds, and in addition to stated needs for IT purposes, hardware and software. Part of this policy, we also identify what we're going to be doing with the marijuana franchise fee revenue. And that's pretty much being split about 50-50, 50% going to IT needs and 50% going into the GURP field, turf and maintenance and replacement. Policy number 4 is committing our business, or portion of our business license revenue to the stabilization fund. So again, the stabilization fund is contrasted, if you will, from the contingency budget in that this is like our rainy day fund. This is where we're socking away a little bit of money ever since the recession hit. And we're hoping that next year we'll end up with an ending fund balance of about $800,000. So it's not a lot of money, but it is real dollars. It's a real dollar set aside in a separate fund that we can only use for two purposes. One, if there's a drastic drop in our revenues of 4% from the prior year, or if we have a natural disaster and to mitigate some of those expenses. So with contingency budget, we can use that for anything. Stabilization fund, only specific, those two specific instances. Policy 5 of 6 is just keep personnel costs less than 78% of the total general fund revenues, and the city manager's financial budget recommendations for fiscal year 20 is coming in just under that at 77.4. So we're in pretty good shape there. Fiscal policy 6, not going to go into a lot of this. We covered this a lot at the workshop, and it's really designed to keep us in front of our both current employee and retiree benefit liabilities in long term. So city manager is still recommending a pay-as-you-go process, and so no change again from where we were in the direction we received in February. Okay. With that, I just wanted to highlight quickly a couple of the some of the general fund revenue pieces, specifically property tax caps. They ended up, we've got final determination from the state as to what they are for each county. That's set at a county level, and for Washoe County, it's going to be 3% for owner-occupied residential properties and 4.8% for everybody else. Okay. That would result in an abatement number of about $6.1 million. So if you remember, abatement is the amount of dollars that are calculated on your property tax bill and then removed because of the property tax caps. So the caps will result in a $6.1 million abatement for the city of Sparks. That's all resulting from, we are at all-time highs for our assessed valuation. We're up at 11.1% for the year. So all this has been finalized since last time we talked, so I thought that was kind of important. The other thing, just from an expense side, some of the highlights is that our bargaining groups are all settled, most of them. I think there's only 2 that are outstanding, but they're settled through fiscal year 21. PERS rates will increase. They are set by the legislature, but they're going to increase up to 42.5%. Which is a 2 percentage point increase for police and fire, a 1.25 percentage point increase for regular members, and that goes up to 29.25%. And then we end up at 22.5% for our judicial members. And then finally, we just had a 1.5% increase for our health insurance premium, just to keep up on inflation a little bit there. So again, no change on that. That's what we announced that we were planning to do at the time back in February, and that's what we're settled on, what's brought forth in the budget book here. So with that, just a reminder, what we're asking for today is 2 things. Again, I'm not going to go over the CIP plan that was done in detail, but we are asking for approval on that today, and then also approval of the city manager's budget recommendations for fiscal 20. Embedded in that is the city manager's reorganization plan for the city. So an approval of that today would also put into immediate effect that essentially flows according to 5 operational functions, if you will: police, fire, compliance, and then internal and external operations. So we're asking for those 2 motions today. And again, the approval on the city manager's budget recommendations would go forward, and we will prepare the final budget according to what you see here today, unless you give us alternate direction.
Are you looking for 2 motions or 1 motion with both of those included?
I put this down as 2 motions, and I think I'd prefer that just to get that on the record.
Okay.
And that's all I had, unless you had other questions.
Questions or comments? Mr. Lawson?
So Neil, we haven't even seen a budget from regional planning at this point. So I don't know if they're going up or down or what. Is this going to affect us?
I have. As a
You
matter of
have?
fact,
Okay.
yes. Community Services Director John Martini and I had a meeting with their executive director about 2 weeks ago, where we went through her budget proposal. And our overall commitment to the budget would come down slightly compared to this this year. And it's coming down because you'll remember in the year that we're in now, or last year's budget, so to speak, we paid out an additional $12,000 to buy them a server, okay? So we won't need to do that again this year. That said, some of their costs are going up, just like some of our costs are going up. So there was a slight adjustment upwards in what the request is. That is included in the recommendation that you have before you today. So we've budgeted for what they have asked for. As I reviewed it with Mr. Martini, we felt like it was a reasonable, logical request. So it's in front of you as asked.
So I know last year we asked the director at Regional Planning to submit her number prior to us. I mean, we're finalizing our budget here today, basically. And I haven't, as an elected official, seen this budget yet. Can we have a strongly worded conversation over a box of cereal or something?
Yes, sir.
See if we can get this thing in February like we asked for last year?
I will certainly share that message.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? You know, for me, I am so excited about this budget, and especially the new employees that we were able to add this year. We made a commitment quite a while ago that we need to do this. It's time to do this. So I want to thank Jeff, you and your staff, all the department heads, the city council, and most of the people are city employees that are in here, but we start on this in November. That's when we start on it. I don't know when you start on it, when we actually get involved, and then the communication levels between us all, it's just been amazing this year. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Mr. Dare.
I had the honor of coming on city council after the recession started shifting, and we've been at a place where some of these things we're doing this year, we've needed so much. And if anybody out in our city's watching this, this is a big year for us. This is a big deal when it comes to police, fires, even just our capital improvement across the board. And so it's an exciting year. It's exciting to be right here, and great job, everybody. It's exciting to see us move forward and bring some of the things to our city we know we need to have. So thank you.
Mr. Lawson.
I'm ready to make a motion if you're ready.
Okay, so you got a two-part motion here.
I move to approve the city manager's final budget recommendation for the fiscal year 2019-20.
Okay.
Just because it said number 2 on it, I want to do it first.
Okay, we have a motion looking for a second. Ms. Bybee.
I'd like to second, sorry.
Okay.
I'd like to second that motion, just with one comment. Thank you to all the staff, and also appreciate the city of Sparks, because we are still very fiscally responsible to our taxpayers who work hard for their money. And I know that's my number one priority when I was elected, is just to be a fiscal hawk, because I know how hard we all work. And I feel like the staff and the city has always been responsible. And I appreciate your ongoing work, and even as things improve, we are able to spend more money, but we're never going to do so without being very thoughtful about it. And I appreciate that and the work that you all do to make sure that we do that. So with my second, that's my comments.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Ed, you want to make the next motion?
I move to approve the proposed 5-year capital improvements plan for the year 2019-2020 through fiscal year 23-24.
Okay, we have a motion looking for a second. Mr. Abbott?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
A lot of work, guys.
Okay, 9.3, consideration, discussion, and possible adoption of resolution number 3346 to augment the FY19 budget by $7,777,458 in various funds to provide appropriations for capital projects approved, but not completed in prior years. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you. Stacy Hammerling, Budget Administrator. This item today, you just approved the 20 budget. This item is referring to this current year's budget, fiscal 19. We need to augment it. It's just an annual cleanup item that we do for projects that were approved in prior years. We didn't finish them, we didn't bid them, so there was no purchase order. So we need to bring that budget forward to this year to avoid a budget violation. So there were 32 projects that are attached there, the list of the specific projects totaling $7.8 million. Any questions?
Any questions for Stacy? Comments? Okay, looking for a motion. Mr. Anderson.
I move to adopt resolution number 3346 to augment the fiscal year 19 capital projects funds and enterprise fund.
Okay, we have a motion looking for a second. Mr. Dare.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just a question, do we need to state the amount?
Well, it's in the, go ahead and state the amount of seven
It's not in
million.
the motion.
Here.
Suggested motion.
$7,777,458.
That would be the total transfer.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
I second the amount as well.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Thanks, Stacy.
Thanks.
Okay, 9.4, discussion and possible approval to amend the Appendix A in the Management Professional and Technical Resolution R3341 to coincide with the city manager's budget recommendations effective April 22nd, 2019. Welcome.
Mr. Mayor and council members, Jill Valdez, Human Resource Analyst for the record. Before you today are the following two agenda items that are procedural to implement the city manager's recommended organizational changes that were included in the budget. The first is a proposed title change in the Management Technical Professional Resolution Appendix A. If approved, the title of Human Resources Manager would change to Human Resources Director. There is no salary change and no fiscal impact. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, looking for a motion. Mr. Abbott.
I move to approve the amendment to the attached Management, Professional, and Technical Resolution, R-3341, Appendix A, effective April 22nd, 2019, as presented by staff.
Okay, we have motion, looking for a second. Mr. Lawson.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Good.
More try pops. Oh.
Passes unanimously. Okay. And you're up on this 9.5 also, Jill. Presentation, discussion, and possible approval to amend the Appendix A in the Executive Employee Resolution 3344 to coincide with the city manager FY20 budget recommendations effective April 22nd.
Jill Valdez, Human Resource Analyst again for the record. This is the second of the two procedural items. And if approved, there are three things that this item will do. The first is that the title of Financial Services Director would become Chief Financial Officer. The second change is that the title, level, and salary range of the position of Community Services Director would be removed from the Appendix A. That is because in the new organizational structure, the current Community Services Director is absorbed into one of the two Assistant City Manager roles. The third proposed change is modifications to the classification level and salary range of Assistant City Manager. Because of the role changes, this went to Korn Ferry Hay Group, who re-reviewed the position and has recommended that the position should now be leveled at 23 instead of 24 with associated salary reductions. Financial impacts are not addressed in this agenda item as they have already been addressed in the budget item heard before you just a few minutes ago. I will take any questions.
Okay, questions, comments? Mr. Dare.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
I move to approve the amendments to the attached Executive Employee Resolution, Appendix A, effective April 22nd, 2019, presented by staff.
Okay, we have a motion. Looking for a second. Mr. Abbott.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. And you're going to do the next one as well, Jill?
Yes.
This is special, huh? Presentation, discussion, and possible approval of an employment agreement, AC 5559, for Peter J. Kroll for the position of Police Chief effective June 11th, 2019, with a yearly salary of $185,224. Jill.
Jill Valdez again for the record. The current police chief is retiring in June of 2019. In anticipation of that upcoming retirement, the city manager has selected Deputy Chief Peter J. Kroll for the position of Police Chief effective June 11th. DC Kroll has worked at the Sparks Police Department since 1994. He's made his way through the ranks to his current position of Deputy Police Chief. During his tenure, he has held a wide breadth of roles and special assignments, making him a well-rounded choice to assume the position of Police Chief. He holds a bachelor's degree with dual majors, one in criminal justice and one in journalism from UNR, and he also has a supervisory management certification. There is no fiscal impact in this agenda item because this is a replacement of an existing budgeted position. Before we call Mr. Kroll up here, do you have any questions of me?
Questions or comments? See none. Mr. Kroll, why don't you come on down? Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Would you like to say a few words? Or a lot of words?
Not very many, because I'm afraid I'll lose it, but Mr. Mayor, members of the council, for the record, Deputy Police Chief Pete Kroll, I am truly honored to be here before you today and to be under consideration for the position of Police Chief for the city of Sparks. Throughout the history, I think, of this department, it has been a leader in the community, and I certainly look to continue that tradition. I thank you not only for your faith and trust in me, but I also would like to thank my wife publicly for her faith and support throughout my career to this point. So I look very forward to the challenges if selected, and I thank you very much for consideration.
Okay, don't leave.
No, sir.
Stay right there. Okay, any questions, Councilman Mr. Lawson?
I'm going to make a motion.
Okay, it's time.
I move to approve the employment agreement between the City of Sparks and Peter J. Kroll and authorize the city manager to execute the contract. And by the way, great choice. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion looking for a second. Mr. Anderson.
I'm honored to make a second on the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Ms. Bybee?
Before we vote, I would just like to say I think it is an excellent choice. I think you're going to do proud by Sparks Police standards. We have a long history of leadership in our police department, and I think you will carry on for Chief Allen and do exemplary, and welcome aboard. Look forward to working together.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any other discussion, comments? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Congratulations. Chief, can you get a picture? Get your wife. Let's get a picture up here with.
We're going to block water bottles.
Both of you. You can come up as well. Come on up. Congratulations. You must be very proud. Congratulations, Chief. You guys are awesome. Congratulations. Can I call you Chief? So excited. Hey. Hey, Chief, we think you're really great.
I think this is the chief.
Okay, let's get a big, watch out for the water coolers there.
We're blocking. Okay. Trying not to move a water cooler again. Okay.
Good. Congratulations, Chief. Thank you very much.
Smart man.
Okay. 9.7 is the first reading. Lisa?
This is the first reading of Bill number 2755, an ordinance amending section 20.03.046, wireless communication tower or antenna of the Sparks Municipal Code, revising one definition and adding a new definition within section 20.08.002, making administrative changes, adding a new section establishing regulations for small wireless communication facilities located on private property, and providing other matters properly relating thereto.
Okay, this is the first reading for ordinance, for bill number 2755, will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on Monday, May 13th in the council chambers. 9.8 is another first reading.
This is the first reading of Bill number 2756, an ordinance amending Title 12 of the Sparks Municipal Code by adding Chapter 12.42.020 to address the construction, installation, and operation of small wireless facilities within the city right-of-way and providing other matters properly related thereto.
Okay, this is the first reading for bill number 2756, and it will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on Monday, May 13th in the council chambers. 9.9, another first reading.
This is the first reading of Bill number 2757, an ordinance amending Chapter 5.77 of the Sparks Municipal Code to amend sidewalk cafes, revise one definition, add a new definition, add a section to establish regulations for pour stations during special events, and other matters properly relating thereto.
Okay, this is the first reading for bill number 2757, and it will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on May 13th in the council chambers. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to number 10, 10.1, public hearing, consideration and possible approval of a memorandum of understanding, AC 5560, between the City of Sparks and the Sparks Police Protective Association, lieutenants, effective April 29, 2019. Jill.
Jill Valdez, Human Resource Analyst, again for the record. The next two agenda items are memorandums of understanding between the city and two of the units of the Sparks Police Protective Association. And I'd like to start by expressing appreciation for the cooperation and collaboration from both of these bargaining groups. The first is with the Lieutenants Bargaining Unit. The City of Sparks is now transitioning to an electronic timekeeping system, and we have the majority of employees at the city on it. They record their time worked. When the system was implemented with police personnel, we discovered that the contract language was outdated for use with an electronic system. This MOU helps parties understand and agree upon the method of paying for time worked when lieutenants prepare for briefings. With the old language, time was designated as and paid as compensatory time only. Under the new language, the employees record their exact time and they're able to designate whether it's regular time, overtime, or compensatory time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, this is a public hearing item, and I'll open up the public. Anybody in the public wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council. Mr. Lawson.
Make a motion, I move to approve the memorandum of understanding, AC 5560, between the City of Sparks and the City of Sparks Police Protective Association / lieutenants.
Okay, we have a motion looking for a second. Mr. Abbott?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, 10.2. Public hearing, consideration, possible approval of a memorandum of understanding, AC 5561, between the City of Sparks and the Sparks Police Protective Association, sergeants, effective April 29, 2019.
Jill Valdez, Human Resource Analyst for the record. This second item mirrors the previous item for lieutenants, except that this is a memorandum of understanding with the sergeant's bargaining unit. The same changes and understanding apply. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll open up the public hearing. Anybody in the public wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council. Looking for a motion. Mr. Dare.
I move to approve the memorandum and understanding between the City of Sparks and the City of Sparks Police Protective Association sergeants.
Okay, we have a motion looking for a second. Mr. Anderson.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Passes unanimously. Thanks, Joe. Okay, there are no planning and zoning items. We'll open up to the public. Anybody in the public wishing to speak at this time? Bill?
The question I
Well, you can't ask it from over there, you have to come up here.
You gotta see your smiling face, Bill.
I know, you're just trying to cause trouble.
You guys will probably won't answer the question anyway, but 9 point.
What makes you think so?
Well, 9.5, you talked about salaries, but you didn't say whether they're gonna go up or down.
Okay,
So that's my question. I just wanna know if there's gonna be any increase.
Actually, it's pretty neutral.
What's that?
It's a very slight increase.
Slight increase? I don't know what slight means. Is 1% half?
Well, if I had your money, I could probably explain it better, but.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, all right, well, that's all I have.
they're all on contract, Bill.
They're all in contract?
Most of them are on contracts, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks for coming up. Anybody else in the audience wishing to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the council for comments. Comments from Mr. Anderson. You don't want to say anything?
No.
Okay. Wake up. Mr. Dare.
I just want to put it on the record out there for anybody interested. We have a golf tournament coming up for the Nevada Veterans Memorial. Just want to invite everybody out there on June 21st. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be actually, some of you might say you don't golf, but the golf holes will be that big, quite literally. It's a carnival tournament, so even those of you who golf like me might have a chance, so please come.
Okay, any other comments or comments? Without objection, we are adjourned.
I'd like to call to order the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting of Monday, April 22nd with a roll call.
Chairperson Bybee.
Here.
Agency members Abbott.
Here.
Lawson. Anderson.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Dare.
Here.
Chief Legal Officer Adams. Chief Administrative Officer Kreutz.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll go down to item 3, public comment. Do I have any public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Item 4, agenda, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Motion by Agency Member Smith, second by Agency Member Dare. Please vote.
Oh, I get to vote. Aye.
Where to go, where to go? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Item number 5, 5.1, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the minutes of the Sparks Redevelopment Agency meeting of March 25th. Do I have any corrections, additions, or a motion to approve? Agency Member Dare?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second? Agency Member Abbott?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Let's see, item 6.1, business items, consideration and possible acceptance of the report of the claims and bills approved for payment and appropriation transfers for the period of March 7th, 2019 through April 3rd, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve? Agency Member Abbott?
Sorry. I'm laughing at Ron. I move to accept the report of claims and bills approved for payment and the appropriation transfers for the period of March 7th, 2019 through April 3rd, 2019.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Agency Member Smith?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Oh, there, he's there. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Item 6.2, consideration and possible adoption of resolution SRA-133 to augment the fiscal year 19 budget in the redevelopment area 1 capital projects fund by $80,000 to provide appropriations for a capital project approved but not completed in the prior year.
Stacy
Stacy.
Hemmerling. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Budget Administrator. This item is just like the one you heard in the last meeting, but this project is in the redevelopment fund, so we took it to this meeting. I did look at the recommended motion on this one, also does not include the dollar amount, and I have a feeling in the past we haven't done that, but I think it's a good add, so if we could add that to the motion, the dollar amount, but it is, again, just one project approved in a prior year, not completed, and now we need to roll the budget forward to this year.
Okay, Stacy, this is for the camera project in the,
You know, it's for,
In
I
the
saw
parking
the garage
garage?
improvements. I am not.
the garage improvements.
Yeah, I'm not prepared. I believe that's right, but I do not know.
Cameras, gentlemen? Okay, so the security surveillance camera project that has not been completed.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Do I have any other questions, Mr. Agency Member Anderson?
I was going to make a motion.
Sure.
Move to adopt resolution SRA-133 to augment the FY19 budget in redevelopment area 1, capital fund, project fund by $80,000 to provide appropriations for capital projects approved but not completed in the prior year.
Okay, do I have a second? Agency Member Dare?
Second.
Do I have any discussion, comments? Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Item 6.3. 6.3, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the Chief Administrative Officer's final budget recommendations for the City of Sparks Redevelopment Agency Areas 1 and 2 for fiscal year 2019-2020. Mr. Cronk and Mr. Kurtz.
Good afternoon. Boy, I'm finding myself blank on words here all of a sudden. When I walking up here, I'm thinking Kurtz, say like 3 words and go sit down and be quiet. We are here. I already am.
Aye. Aye.
Awesome. Love it. Fantastic.
I'm losing control of this group. Go ahead, Mr. Kurtz.
And I know when to stop selling. So I'm going to be quiet and turn it over to Jeff.
For the record, Jeff Gronk, Chief Financial Officer of the agency. So this is the same process that we went through with the city. So again, it's the same dates, but just to put it on record for the redevelopment agency that we're going to bring back the final budget for your consideration and approval on May 28th. This is just the city manager's recommendation that we built coming out of the workshop in February. Again, staff has already filed the tentative budget. Since that was due also on April 15th. So again, on that same May 28th, we're going to have a public hearing on the tentative budget. And then immediately after, we're going to present the final budget for your approval. Suffice it to say, for the redevelopment agencies, they're pretty straightforward. There's just 2 funds each. There's a capital projects funds in each area 1 and area 2, and then also a debt service fund. And I think it's just important to note that the debt service is being met and with room to spare. As far as capital projects, we've already covered that in the workshop. There are capital projects being planned for Area 1 that have not been finalized yet, but none have been planned for Area 2. So they're pretty straightforward. So with that, I'll take any questions.
I did have one question. So just to reiterate, Redevelopment Agency 1 expires in 2023?
That's correct.
So we're
Counting down.
there.
We're counting down.
Okay. So as we're looking at CIPs and everything, we have to have everything completed by 2023, the 2023 budget.
Correct. And that would be the end of a 45-year period for redevelopment area 1.
Okay.
And then any future CIP needs in what would have been redevelopment area 1 will compete with the rest of the general fund for the rest of the general fund resources going forward.
Okay.
As part of our regular CIP process.
So it falls within the regular CIP process then, moving forward after 2023. It's just general CIPs.
Yes.
Okay.
And all the revenues that are going into area 1 right now, that will be distributed to the regular agency pool according to the property tax distributions as normal. So it's as if the redevelopment area just isn't there.
But we will still have the redevelopment agent area 2 is 2029?
Correct.
Okay. Do I have questions? Agency Member Dare?
Let's make a motion. I move to approve the Chief Administrative Officer's final budget recommendations for the City of Sparks Redevelopment Agency Areas 1 and 2 for fiscal year 2019-20.
Agency Member Anderson, second?
Second the motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please vote.
I have one question.
Motion carries unanimously. Agency Member Dare.
Are we allowed to, how do we get another one of those started? Because don't we want to keep some redevelopment areas in place? You don't? Is that a bigger conversation?
Quite a bit bigger.
Yeah. so. Well,
I'm watching our
I just
attorney.
asked that you clue me in at some point. I'd like to know a little bit more about them.
Understood.
Thank
That is a much bigger discussion, and so we will certainly have it in the coming months.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Item 7.1, comments from the public. Do I have any comments from the public? Seeing none, close comments from the public. Comments from the agency and chief administrative officer? Seeing none, we're adjourned.